guest today has been wowing audiences at blues festivals across the region and the country for years. He's an incredible guitar player who hails from the Ridgeway-Crystal Beach area, and he's only 22 years old. Let's welcome Spencer Mackenzie. New album coming out in January. I'm excited about that. What are we expecting to hear on that album?
This new album, it's going to be called Preach to My Soul. It's coming out early next year, and what you're expected to hear, or at least what I've been preparing, is something along the lines of more blues rock, a bit heavier than the last album, so that's great. More influence from guys like Gary Clark Jr., Joe Bonamassa, which is great in my books. I love guys like that.
Two of my favorites right there.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're shooting for, and the album's almost done. So we're just excited. Early next year, it's going to be launched, and people are going to be able to have it in their hands. And we're going to be able to hopefully play at a lot of festivals, a lot of big stages, so you guys can hear it. You could hear it at home. You could hear it live, which is what we're all missing. So this
sounds a lot different than 2018's Cold November. That had more of a B.B. King kind of vibe. A little bit of a cleaner guitar tone. You sound like you're going to get a little nasty on the guitar on this next one.
I definitely will. You are right in that aspect, but the title track, Preach to My Soul, is, without going into too much detail because it's not out yet, there's a song about all of my influences. And so there is a tone of definitely dirtier, nastier guitar, I'd say, but does still have heavy blues influence on it. And the song, Preach to My Soul, explains all of that. So it explains, you know, just kind of paying homage, which is really important to me. I'm still going to be doing that by the time I'm 40, 50 years old. I'll still be doing that.
And that's always really important in the blues world. You've had these idols, you look up to them, and I'm not saying you're trying to emulate them, but there's a blues tradition that you are following.
Oh, yeah, definitely. In this style of music, when you've done your homework and done your research, it definitely shows.
Spencer, you have a couple of gigs coming up, October 15th and 17th in Thorold with some blues legends. That one sounds very exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting. It's with a ton of people I've played with, and the first day is a Blues Legends show hosted by Brant Parker, which is a huge influence of mine, played on Cold November as well, and he's running a fantastic show. Then after, on the Sunday, is our show, and we're going to call that the Young Gun Show. So it's myself, Riley Michaels, and another guitarist from Buffalo Over the Bridge, Hayden Fogel. And the whole setup of the show is we're going to each play our set, and then we're each going to get together at the end and play. And the whole show, the way they're running it is that they have these blues legends, Brant Parker, Harrison Kennedy, etc., and then they have us. So they're kind of doing a nice full circle, and it's really great. So you can go get your tickets for both those events in Thorold at the Canadian Course.
This almost takes the place of the usual October Canal Bank Shuffle, which happens in Thorold as well.
Yes, we wanted to do something, and we really appreciated the Canal Bank Shuffle, and obviously it's been hard for a lot of festivals to run this year, so we wanted to make sure we were able to do something because we're very thankful for our audience there.
I know you've shared the stage with Steve Strongman and other people like that. You're just a young guy, 22 years old, and I know the first time I met you, I asked those questions. How does a young guy get into the blues when you haven't really lived it? But it's not about that, is it?
No, it's not about that, and I always say that it is funny in some sense because you're thinking about things you might have not gone through, but I still project the same amount of soul and energy with lyrics and with the music. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to mean it from experience, but if I can mean it from my heart, I can still do it.
Of course.
And so, and it's also a big part of it is listening to people do it. I've listened to people do it ever since I've been growing up, so it just kind of rubs off on you. So people say, you can't do that, or you go, yeah, you can if you've listened to it every day.
You working with your father, Richard, again on
Yes.
these songs? And is it all new songs on that album in January?
Yeah, all new songs. It's there are 2 covers, which is really great. I always love to, and you mentioned Harrison Kennedy. Harrison Kennedy always told me, he says, make sure you pay some homage, put some covers on your album. So I always do that.
Who are you covering on the album?
They're definitely 2 contrasting. So you're gonna get a really cool surprise. Definitely one of those songs is something you wouldn't expect from that artist. I always try to find songs that that people really don't know, but it sounds like they should know them. Like I did a tune on Cold November called Next Door Neighbor Blues, which was Gary Clark Jr.'s song. And he has a studio version of that, which a lot of people know, but I did the live version. It's like, huh, covering a live version of a song on a studio album? So I try to do stuff like that where people go, that sounds good. Why don't I know that?
October 29th, sharing the stage with Tara Lightfoot in a pairings performance at the First Ontario PAC. Tara is an amazing performer.
Yes, I'm very excited to be opening up for her. It's a great series that they have going on. They're calling it Pairings, and what they're doing is they have artists together, obviously, so me opening up for Tara, and they have local wineries. It's an intimate setting in the Robertson Theatre, which is in the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre.
Only 50 people in the audience and also live streamed.
Yeah, it's also live streamed, and you can get your tickets that way, or there's a few tables, and this is a different setup from the theater. It's, like I said, very intimate setting, and it's just like two people per table, and it's 2 artists, and they have wine together, so you're drinking wine, pairs, listening to pairs, and that's kind of the name of the event, obviously, and it's a really cool experience. They're doing a couple of them, which is really great, and they have some great names. So if ours is sold out, first off, check out Tara Lightfoot, check out myself. We'd really appreciate it, but also go to the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre and see who they have there, because they have some really great talent.
Spencer, we can't wait to hear the new album in January. Thanks for visiting us in the YourTV studio.
Thank you very much. Very excited.